guys, and welcome to excuse me, another edition of To The Point Live. I will just allow the room to fill up. Evening Jack, evening Vale till I die. Just leave it a moment. Just tell you a little bit about what we're going to review on the show. We're going to have a look back at the Czech Open over the weekend, which was absolutely incredible for a certain Jamie Hughes. More about that later. A little bit more about those unicorn boards. My goodness, more players and more unicorn players complaining. I'm feeling that the quality of the boards are costing them matches, even Charlie. So we'll have a little look at that. Quick look back, or should I say, a quick look ahead to all the action in Las Vegas over the next few days. And of course, we now know the lineup for the World Matchplay. And my goodness, what an exciting end that was. A little bit of housekeeping, of course. Don't forget, issue 4 of the magazine is still available. Issue 5 going into print as we speak and probably be available in around about 10 days. Well, should be on your doorstep in around about 10 days. Also, don't forget Dartboard.tv Winmow's Masters event. After the huge success of our first one in Norwich, we're running 2 more this year. 19th of October, Riley's Wolverhampton, and the 15th of December, a couple of days before my birthday, in Riley's Victoria, London. Now, please be aware that it's only £10 to enter, but it is limited to 128 places, pre-entry only. Evening Graham, evening Viv, evening Brian. So yeah, please be aware of that. And I know dart players synonymous with leaving everything to the last minute, but please, if possible, get your entries in early to avoid disappointment. And as I said, it will fill up fast. We more than filled the one at Norwich. Guaranteed prize money, of course, there's £1,750. If you want to look into pre-entering now, which I would advise, just head over to dartsplanet.tv and you'll see the entry page over there. Evening Thomas. And like I said, we are going to have a quick look back over the weekend of what was an absolutely epic event in Prague. And of course, that was the part of the Euro Tour 9, which saw that man there, Jamie Hughes, come out on top. But it all kicked off Friday afternoon. Some real standout performances that I think we ought to mention as we head into the World Matchplay. Like I said, we'll have a quick look at the final 32 players. We know the seeds. The draw will be done on the 8th of July, but more about that a little bit later. So yeah, Danny Noppert kicked off 99.53 average in his 6-2 win of Stefan Belmont. Justin Pipe had a good 6-4 win over Madars Razma, averaging 95. Justin been showing signs of returning to some good form. Watamina again, 98 average in a 6-0 win over Kevin Garcia. First shock of the day, Sedlacek beating Brendan Dolan, and Brendan's been another player showing some good signs of form of late. The return of Corey Cadby, he's just, as I suggested, getting some momentum now. He started a little slowly, but that was to be expected. It's nearly 12 months away from the serious competitive action of the PDC Pro Tour. He won 6-0, 93 average, very tidy, very efficient. John Henderson then beat William Borland 6-3 with a shade under 98. And then one of the players of the weekend kicked off his campaign, Keegan Brown. Needed a few good results to secure his match play place, and he certainly did that. He won 6-0 in his first round game, averaging 92. Goldfinger, Andrew Gilding, again, you've got to suggest this was a bit of a shock, beating Rowby John Rodriguez 6-3 with a near 95 average. And then Glenn Durrant kicked off his campaign with 110 average. Yes, 110 average, beating Daniel Larson 6-1, 5-1 aces, 6-1 40s, a 1-3-2 finish, 6 from 9 on his doubles, 66%, absolutely outstanding. And this was a tough one. Merv King against Steve West. Of course, Steve West, not sure whether he had to win 1 or 2 games to secure his match play spot. And himself and Merv are really, really good pals. And unfortunately, Steve West's going to miss out on the match play this year. He went down 6-5. Couldn't be any more narrow. William O'Connor, he won 6-0 with an 86 average. And then another great win for another young prospect who we've spoke about many times on here, Ted Evitts. He took care of Ratajski 6-3. Ratajski 98.7 average. Ted Evitts 97.1, 5-1 is, and again himself 6 from 9 on the doubles. Chris Dobie took care of Sebastian Slayer with a 94 average, 6-2. Mullenkamp, no real dangers there. He went through 6-2. Bunting beat Thornton 6-3. Bunty there averaging 95.75, so that was a statement of his intentions. And Jamie Hughes, who trailed early on against Devon Peterson, but came through 6-4. Devon averaging just a shade over 80 there. Jamie Hughes 91.59. And of course, Devon Peterson, for the first couple of days of the match play, will be joining the punditry and commentary team on Sky Sports for the World Match Play. Saturday sees the Seeds enter the fray, and we didn't have to wait long before one went down, and that was Johnny Clayton going down 6-2 to Watamina. Danny Nopper took care of Darren Webster 6-4. Whitlock just nicked it against Justin Pipe after Justin Pipe had a very cruel, well, it wasn't even it was a fallout, and the dart looked plumb in the 60 off a 130. Threw a dart just underneath, 60 came out. Another victim of bounce outs, and he had a ridiculous amount against Andrew Gilding, and that's Nathan Aspinall, and he lost that one 6-4. Gurney beat William O'Connor 6-4 with a 91 average. Ian White beat Sedlacek with a 99.72 average, 3 180s, 12 140s in that one. Outstanding scoring from Ian White. And then another shock, another seed, James Wade going down 6-2 to Merv King. Looked a bit flat in that one for me, James. Maybe has his got his head on for other things at the moment, including obviously the match play, one of his first major titles. Then Ted Evitts beat Ricky Evans 6-3. Good performance, 96 average. Dobie then beat Joe Cullen with a 97 average. Cullen averaging 91. Yet another seed goes, this time Stephen Bunting played superbly in this one. He took care of Peter Wright 6-4. And then the shock of the tournament, Keegan Brown beating a little bit of a disappointing MVG. It was 6-5. MVG 318 is 95 average, but only 27% on his doubles, 5 from 18. And that was his downfall in that one. Then Sulovic took care of John Henderson. John Henderson right out of sorts, but I have been told by a few of the lads that works over there, including Russ Brayo, I think he tweeted and he said it was the hottest stage he'd ever been on, including the match play that back in the day used to get absolutely roasting. And of course, Big John, he suffers in the heat and he went down 6-0 to Sulovic. John, well, as an example of how much he struggled, 77 average, not like Big John at all. Then Gerwin Price against Glenn Durrant. Of course, Gerwin Price produced the, he won 6-4, but the final leg of the match, he produced a 9 and finished with 100 average. And that was the end of Durrant in this one. But again, another player in his first season has secured his place in the match play. Another player whose form is of big concern, and that's Adrian Lewis. He went down 6-0 to Jamie Hughes. Jamie Hughes averaging nearly 97. Adrian Lewis 77, right out of sorts. Then Corey Cadby took care of another seed, this time Michael Smith. Corey Cadby 98.1 average, 3 180s, threw very nice there. Even though his doubles were a bit scrappy at time, only 6 from 16, but still averaged 98, so that shows you how well he scored. Then on to Sunday, the day it all matters. Keegan Brown first up against Danny Noppert. Keegan Brown coming through 6-4 with a 95 average. Then Sulovic averaging nearly 98 in beating Ted Evitts 6-3. Bunting beat Doby. Only an 87 average in this one for Bunty, but it was all about the timing. And then Gurney took care of Watamina. Good average there from Gurney, 96.59. Ian White took care of Gilding. Gilding averaging only 72, no wonder he only won the one leg. Jay Muse beat Ron Mullenkamp. Jay Muse, 102.72 average in that one, just completely outplayed him. And then the Battle of the Kings, Merv King against Corey Cadby. And it was Merv who came through. Disappointing performance from Cadby again. May have suffered with the heat, as Merv did. Actually collapsed after his evening match through, well, just due to the heat. And then Whitlock produced another shock in beating Gerwin Price 6-3, 96.3 average for Simon. And then Keegan Brown, which you'd have to say is another shock, but what a performance, what a match this was. He beat Mensa Sulovic 6-2, Keegan Brown 103.76 average, Mensa Sulovic 100.45 quality contest, that one was. And then Bunting beat Daryl Gurney 6-3. Jamie Hughes scraped through, and I always say you have to come through one of these over the weekend, and he certainly did here. Jamie Hughes against Ian White. Ian White 98.77 average, Jamie Hughes 99.84. Serious quality in that one, but it was Jamie Hughes that progressed 6-5. Then Whitlock beat Merv King 6-4, and then after this match is where Merv collapsed due to heat exhaustion. And then it was the semi-finals. Bunting took care of Keegan Brown. I think Keegan, well, I think they were both sort of showing signs of running out of bullets. Jamie Hughes beat Whitlock 7-3, 95 average, looked really fresh. And then in the final, Jamie Hughes 8-3 against Bunting, 96.63 average. Bunty only 81, and I think it was evident in that semi-final he was just running out of puff. But a really good tournament. Congratulations to Jamie Hughes. And like I said, he had to win it to get in the match play, and that is exactly what he has done. We have the lineup. This is the lineup for the match play. The 16 seeds. And don't forget, if the seeds come through, obviously, the seeds 1 plays 16, 2, 15, etc. And the form that Adrian Lewis is in at the moment, you'd have to think, looking at the Pro Tour Order of Merit qualifiers, he's going to have his hands full if he replicates any kind of performance he produced over the weekend. But number 1 seed, MVG, 2 Rob Cross, 3 Daryl Gurney, 4 Gary Anderson, 5 Michael Smith, 6 Peter Wright, 7 Gerwin Price, 8 James Wade, 9 Mensa Sulovic, 10 Ian White, 11 Simon Whitlock, 12 Dave Chisnall, 13 Nathan Aspinall, what a rise, 14 Johnny Clayton, 15 Darren Webster, 16 Adrian Lewis. And again, there's a couple of those seeds that you'd have to be concerned with their form at the moment, especially Adrian Lewis and certainly Darren Webster and Johnny Clayton seems a little bit, well, they're either on it or off it. They don't seem to be producing any kind of B game at the moment. And then the Pro Tour Order of Merit qualifiers, so the next best 16 in terms of ranking, Ratajski, Ricky Evans, Glenn Durrant, Joe Cullen, of course, Glenn Durrant debut, the ever-present Steve Beaton, Stephen Bunting, Watamina, Jamie Hughes, another debutant, Jeffrey Deswan, who beat Michael Van Gerwen last year, of course, Chris Doby, Danny Noppert, Max Hopp, Mervyn King, John Henderson, Keegan Brown, and Vincent van der Voort. And that's your lineup. As I said, the draw will be on the 8th of July. And I presume if you keep an eye on the PDC social media and possibly Sky Sports Facebook and Twitter page, I'm sure that it will be streamed live on there, if not Sky Sports as well. And again, we had, the topic came up again, the boards, as I've mentioned, with Justin Pipe, and then Nathan Aspinall had a ridiculous amount. Premium Darts Data, at Premium Dart Data on Twitter. Make sure if you use Twitter, you go over and give them a follow. Well, he produced, as he always does, some great stats, as a lot of the guys do on there that produce these numbers. 2016 Euro Tour 9s, last 4 years. 31 bounce outs, 36 bounce outs, 32 bounce outs, 104. Now, that is a ridiculous jump. And considering the concern and the players' disdain, and of course, and there's no good saying, oh, it's both the same, you know, it's the same for both of them. If you're the one that gets the bounce outs and keeps finding the hard spots and the dead spots of the dartboard, and it's only affecting you, then it's not the same. And you shouldn't be losing matches. You know, they should be playing on the best quality equipment that can be produced. The PDC is the elite of our sport, and yet they continue to play on substandard boards. And you know, like I said, there's something needs to be done, and it needs to be done quickly. And as I said last week, for me, if you've got a brand and it's being showcased around the world and it's of poor quality, and you've just invested a couple of million quid in something, I'd be rather concerned and possibly a little bit pissed off. Over the weekend, of course, it was the Gold Cup and the Champions of Champions. Congratulations to Jim Williams on winning the men's, and Bo Greaves, who won her sixth tournament on the spin, in winning the ladies. Of course, all the chat at the moment is what's going on with the World Trophy. As you know, they signed a deal with Eurosport. I've got my own deal with Eurosport. And as I also suggested, I'm pretty sure that the 9 tournament deal, if they were they weren't going to breach their terms, this event had to go on. And I have no inside information. As I think I put out on Twitter, I listened to Dez's and Paula's. They were on the radio for a few hours. I think it was Friday night. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Friday night. Very enjoyable listen. Very successful couple in their own right. And unfortunately for them, the contract that was signed by the previous chairman or chairwoman has left them in a bit of a predicament. But of course, signing that 9 event deal, which started with the Worlds in January, which as I said, myself and Paul Nicholson and John Rawling covered on Eurosport. It was all looking positive. Not so at the moment, but I can't see. I know there's people who've said, oh, there's value in them not doing it because it's going to cost them so much money. I know that there's potential sponsorship deals in the making. There's lots of new manufacturers out there. There's lots of opportunities. And of course, there's the ladies. And as I've said, 70% of adverts on TV are pretty much driven towards female shoppers. And I'd be staggered with having a platform like Eurosport, which has an insane reach figure, bring in a social media expert, and I'm sure they could find a way of making it work. Even if they just broke even, then they can plan the Windmau, and then of course the Worlds in January. But as of right now, we still don't have a venue, but we have a date. So, you know, I wish them all the best in resolving this issue. I am pretty confident that it will happen. Not that I know any different to anybody else. Like I said, I'm only speculating, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it will take place. Of course, this week the World Series rolls into Vegas. What a fabulous place to play darts. We played out there for many years before. We had the Las Vegas Classic, of course, that was on Sky. We travelled to Vegas for, well, I think they started going out there in the 70s, and then off to Laughlin there was a series of events, and that included Las Vegas. Great place to play darts. The lineup for this World Series is MVG, Rob Cross, Darryl Gurney, Gary Anderson, Peter Wright, Gerwin Price, Michael Smith and Nathan Aspinall. A tasty lineup, I'm sure you will agree. The remaining 8 players, there's actually, which is a great thing, because I did fear that they might not get the kind of turnout they hoped for. But they've had a record amount of entries. I think they took 191 entries. It starts tomorrow. There's 4 qualifiers. The top 4 are automatic, and then the next 4 in an order of merit ranking system. So if you lose in the final, you get so many points, and so many points for a semi, etc., etc., etc. They will then make up that 8 will make up the North American Darts Championship, which Jeff Smith won last year. And then that 8 will then join the names I just read out to play in the US Darts Masters. The US Darts Masters live Thursday from 8 p.m. ITV4. It's gonna, I mean, there's a great lineup of players. Larry Butler, who recently had a heart attack, great to see him back playing. I believe John Part's out there, Jeff Smith, Sean Brenneman, loads and loads and loads of familiar names to me, maybe not so to you. David Cameron, no, not the ex-Prime Minister. I'm surprised he'd even be allowed in America. But anyway, that's another story. Just looking down, there is David Fathom, another familiar name who we've seen before. Leonard Gates, very, very good player. And all of the CDC stuff, which is in the new tour, which is effectively the American side of the PDC tour. Tom Beresford, guy that you would know that's been on the show before, he covers all of that. I think we do a little bit of it on dartsplanet.tv. Dawson Michelle, another guy out there that will be looking to qualify. Qualified John Norman Jr. and Senior. That will always be enjoyable to watch. As I've said, John Park, Chuck Puello. Yeah, there's a Bruce Robbins. It really is DJ Sayer. It really is a who's who of American and Canadian darts. Jim Widmeyer, Darren Young, of course. So yeah, good lineup. Unfortunately, we covered it on TV last year. I don't think it will be this year. Well, I know it won't be this year, but there we go. But it may be available via a stream somewhere. But yeah, first of the World Series events, and like I said, it starts Thursday. I'm really looking forward to that too. Don't forget, those of you that have been following our coverage of the iPlaster Bar 501 Premier League, that continues tomorrow on Bar 501 Facebook page. If you don't have Facebook, you can watch it via our YouTube page. So you've got plenty of options. So I think that just about brings us up to speed. Let's have a look if we've got anything to discuss. Looks like it. Oh, Matty Edgar from the infamous Edgar TV. Make sure you check that out. It's a little bit bonkers, but it's enjoyable. He thinks a lot of seeds will go, so do I. Absolutely buzzing for Jamie. I've said for a few months that he was playing too well not to win eventually. I genuinely think him and Durrant could get top 16 before the end of the year. Well, that's a big shout, Viv Wilson, but never say never. There can only be one king, and that's Mervyn King. Darren Hampton, good evening. Delighted for Yozza, been playing well this year. Gutted for Wilson to miss out. Yeah, quick mention, James Wilson. The only way he wasn't in it was if Jamie Hughes won it. So yeah, you got to feel for him. Thoughts with him right now, because I'm sure he's absolutely gutted. But he put out a lovely tweet congratulating Jamie, and he will be back. If it wasn't for the eye problem, I'm pretty sure he would have qualified by right anyway. Charlie Ross Gray, that was a shocking 6-0 win for Jamie against Adrian Lewis. Thomas Morrison, board quality shocking, but that's no surprise nowadays. Darren Hampton, very strong field for the match play. Think the trend of seeing seeds tumble in majors will continue. I agree. If you've got any questions, make sure you add them in now, because I will then try and get through them all. Or if you've just got not a question, but if you've got a point to make, hence it being called To The Point. Darren Hammond, having listened to the radio interview with Des too, I think you could tell in his voice he was fighting a losing battle. However, you could tell his passion and desire for it to work. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubting that he has good interests at heart. There's just no. That's not up for debate. It's cold. But the problem is, as I've said before, you need industry experts. It's tough anyway. But if you're trying to do it all yourself and you don't understand the legalities of certain things and contracts that have been signed, yeah, it's really tough for him. I feel for him. He has all my sympathy in the world. Matty Edgar, as I said, be a lot of seeds for. Don't forget to check out Edgar TV via Facebook. He's on Facebook and YouTube. Matty Edgar, John Norman Jr. equals legend. John Norman is a proper character. John Norman, he's animated anyway. Joe Beatty, evening, good evening. Viv Wilson, the Eclipse board issue. What the hell is it? I know that's a ridiculous question, but why are they getting it so wrong all of a sudden? Well, it's not necessarily a new thing. It's the quality of produce they use, and it's totally different. Even the Windmow and the target board. It's just due diligence, isn't it? You know, you just make sure whatever the problem is, you resolve it. And again, I do have some sympathy with Edward Lowe, because he says, the aggressive nature of the points make the boards look rough. Well, if the players didn't need to use those aggressive points, they wouldn't look so poor after 10 minutes. And the problem is, where they're dip dyed and they're not done deep enough, again, down to margins. And you wouldn't mind if it was the cheapest board out there, but it's not. They look poor because the sisal gets pulled on it, and because the die doesn't go down deep enough. Again, you can see it, and it's just a shame. I just don't understand. That's like, no, with all due respect, that's like our magazine being a bit like the Darts World one. That's a bit dated, and it's of poor quality, and they use thin paper and everything else. So, when we thought about doing the magazine idea 18 months ago, we wanted to make it, modern, up to speed, a nice read, a quality read. It feels good in your hand. Because that represents our brand across the board, our DartsPlanet.tv brand, Fantasy Darts, and everything else. They merge into one. So why would we make something that's substandard? As a business, I don't get that. But there we go. Cameron Ashworth, still fancy Ian White for the match play, 40-1 still available. Strider Dragon, evening Chris, hope you're well. I'm fine, thank you. Matt Yeager, I believe the board issue affects players whose darts stand up more, yeah. Jack Alexander, can we keep a Windmow blade board up from... can keep a Windmow blade board up for months, rotating every week, and it will last for months, yeah. For me, I haven't used a lot of the new boards. I haven't tried the new Target one. Of course, now on DartsPlanet.tv, we're reviewing all of the latest products, and I'm pretty sure if Bulls want to send us a board over and some of their equipment, Target, there was a new one that came out today, Mission, seen a load of their new brands. It'd be interesting to get a few of those on the show and do a few reviews, see what kind of quality they're producing. Patrick Poppington, Chris, what match would you like to see in the first round of the match play? Let's just have a little look. I wouldn't mind seeing Jeffrey Deswan against MVG repeat. That would be decent. Glenn Durrant against Rob Cross would be a cracking draw. Ratajski against Sulovic would be tasty. Aspinall against Dobie, Young Guns. Jamie Hughes against James Wade would be a little bit special. Maybe Keegan Brown against Gerwyn Price. I think there's a little bit there. Ricky Evans against, who's nice and quick? Gary Anderson. That'd be a tasty opener. What ones would you like to see? Anybody have any preferences of any first round ties? I mean, it's hard to, of the non-seeds, you know, Max Hop can be a little bit vulnerable. You never quite know what you're going to get with Max Hop. But outside of that, and as you know, like I said, you can go from one extreme averaging 80 and then go and averaging 110, so you just don't know what you're going to get. But yeah, there's going to be some interesting matchups there, and I can see a few seeds tumbling, that's for sure. Ricky Evans is 5-2 up against Ando, which is a shock in head-to-head. Yeah. Michael Smith versus Ricky Evans. Yeah, that would be an absolute cracker as well. That would be fast and furious. Even if it went all the way, it'd be over in 35 minutes. Darren Hampton, just hope the weather chills out a bit, as if it's unbearable, as it will be unbearable in the Winter Gardens. Yeah, one of the hottest venues I ever played in. Always used to be scorching, even if we weren't having a great summer. So yeah, I have sympathy with the players if it's a little bit warm. Right, guys, thank you very much. We're going to only doing a quick show tonight because I'm prepping for tomorrow night's iPlaster Bar 501 Premier League. But once again, thank you for all of you that continue to support me across social media. And don't forget, if you do watch this and you're a manufacturer and you would like some of your products reviewing, please get in touch with myself or dartsplanet.tv direct on Twitter or on Facebook, or well, just give me a call. Most of you have my number, and we'll be happy to test and trial some of your latest products. It would be an absolute pleasure. Lots happening with the magazine. Like I said, issue 5 just going into print. Really exciting times. Our media pack's done. Those of you that may be interested in taking an advert out in our magazine, make sure you check that out over at dartsplanet.tv. Don't forget, fantasydarts.tv, #1 on Google, the best prediction online service available, in my opinion. We will be doing the World Matchplay, so make sure you get involved with that. Don't forget, you can create your own groups, you can do it against friends, you can enter the whole leaderboard. Lots of great prizes courtesy of our sponsors, Winmau. Thank you to them for their continued support, of course. And don't forget, there's lots of competitions in issue 5 of the dartsplanet.tv. Like I said, going into print right now. Can be pre-ordered, I believe, on the dartsplanet.tv website. Take care of yourself, guys. Enjoy your week. I will be on TV Thursday night, 8 o'clock, ITV4, with Alan Warner Little and Jackie Oatley, bringing you all the action live from Las Vegas. And that's Thursday and Friday night. And then the following week, we'll be doing the same from Germany. Take care, guys. Enjoy your week, and try and be nice to each other.